Welcome to another session in Microsoft Access Databases with Mr. TJ Zenda here, and today we are going to look at how best we can design a query using Microsoft Access. Okay, so remember from our previous sessions we have looked at the components of the database, and we said we have got four major components of the database, and we have tables, queries, forms and reports. So today we are looking at our very first video in designing a query. So in this section we are going to explore what a query is, how to construct a query from scratch by adding tables, fields and configuring any sorting and filter criteria, and how to work with queries in which data is combined from multiple tables. So what is a query? So we said queries in database, they are used to display relevant data based on certain criteria and conditions. Queries are a way of interrogating databases, which means retrieving particular information so that you can view, modify and delete records in your database. Some queries allow you to view subsets of your data, whilst others allow you to perform actions on your data. So we are going to look at this when we are going to do our practicals. So queries do not themselves store records. Instead, when you create a query, you are creating the instructions that describe which records to retrieve from the database table. You run a query to see the records that these instructions will retrieve at that point. So creating a temporal data set that matches the query's parameters. This means that you can create many subsets of your data whilst actually only storing the data once in the individual tables. Saved queries just store the instructions for how to retrieve the subset of your of the data that you are looking for. So with the query, you can actually do the following. Number one, you can choose which fields of the tables are going to be displayed. You can specify criteria, so only that are matching the records which are shown. You can define sorting orders. You can combine data from multiple related tables, and this is what we are going to look at. Okay, so we have got different types of queries that we have depending on the activities that you want to look at. Okay, so these are the different types of queries. Okay, I'm not going to go through them. You can pause the video and then you can actually read to understand. Now, we also have the operators in queries that we have covered again in some sessions. Okay, these are the operators that we are going to use. The equal sign, greater than, greater or equal to, less than, less or equal to, not equal to. Remember, those who are doing mathematics, they will find it difficult because of the structures of these symbols, which might not be the same with what they are covering in their subject. Okay, so these are the operators which are very, very important when we are going to design our query. Okay, we also have got the data types, right? The numbers. So in terms of the numbers, when you insert your number there, of course the numbers there, you just insert as it is, a number which is equal to 200 rands. But when you insert a text, right, if your data type is a text, then you need to make sure that that text is within the double quotes. The date, make sure that the dates is in between the hashtags. Okay, the yes or no, you can just insert it as yes or no, equal sign yes, equal sign no. Are you married? Equal sign yes. Are you married? True or false. So this is how you are going to work with the data types in queries. Okay, I have also tried to come up with the structure of our query, the way we are going to design. Remember, when you open your database, you are going to land in on your home tab. So you open the table that you want to link to. Then from the table, you are going to see where you have your create. So you are going to create the query design. Okay, so from the home tab, you go to the create, then you take query design. Okay, so this will create a new blank query in design view. Okay, and we also have some multiple criteria that we are also going to make use of. I'll remind you, when we are going to apply these multiple criteria, we have got the and, the or, and the not. I'm going to show you. Remember, Those who are doing mathematics again, they will remember that in probability, the and the or subsets very important. And we normally use it when we are looking at the point of intersection. When you are drawing your Venn diagrams, the or what are we going to do? We add all the contents of of items within our Venn diagram. So those who are doing maths might have a greater advantage in this section to understand. But I'm going to show you how you are going to make use of these operators. Okay. Now let's go to our database. Let's open our database. So I'm opening our database. I'm opening this database. Okay, this is the table that I have, and let's look at the structure of this table. This is the structure. So remember what we said with the query. It is just a tool which is used to show the relevant data based on certain criteria and conditions. We do not want to work with this table because it has got massive amounts of data. Okay, so maybe we want to extract some of the information here and work with some pieces of information rather than working with this whole table. It can be ineffective and time consuming. So we want to create a query based on this table. Okay, so remember what I said. Let's go to create. So we want to create the query. Okay, want to create the query there. From the query, let me just close this table, volunteer data. So I'm going to take the query design. So here's the query design. So we go to create, then query design. Okay, so it will show you the tables. Where are you going to attach your query? Your query is going to be based on which table here. So on this side, you can actually look at the tables that we have. So we are looking at the volunteer data. So you double click on that. So it will then indicate here. Now in this table, we only want the first name. So when I click on the first name, it will appear here in this table at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to add only the first name. Double click. So it's coming here. Can you see that? Followed by, okay, the first name, then followed by the surname. Okay, so I only want our query to show us the first names and the surnames from our volunteer data table. Okay, so this is what we want. Now let's run our first query. If I run, okay, so you can actually see that now in our query is only showing us the first name and the surname. So these are some of the things that you can do. And maybe let's go to our design view for our query. Maybe we want to sort. We want to sort our query, right, to be in ascending order using the first name. Okay, then let's run the query. So you can actually see that this is the first learner with the name Ada. Okay, so now it's being sorted in ascending order. So this is our query. Okay, so if I act as if I want to cancel, it will ask me whether I want to save. Yes. Okay, so my first query there, let me just say for query, remember for tables we used to say TBL. So for query I'm going to say QRY names. Okay, so here is our first query. Then I press OK. Okay, so here is our query. Remember we said the database, it is 4 objects, tables. Now we have our first query, forms and reports. So we are looking at queries today. Okay, let's go and do some other things. Let's go and create another database. Okay, another query from our table here. Okay, let's go to create, then you go to query design. We are working with this table. Okay, so this time I want to deal with the first name, then age, double click, right, then grade, okay, followed by the number of shifts, followed by the amount of money, that was paid for those shifts. Okay, so this is what we have. So this is the query. Now what we need to do now, okay, let me add another field. Maybe let's add something that has to do with do we have gender here? So we add grade, first aid, interest, start date. Okay, and then shift amount. Maybe let's add the start date there. Double click. Okay, all right, so this is what we have. Okay, so we have created our query. Let me just run to see if it is working. So this is what we have from our table, the second query that we are trying to generate there. Let's go back to design view. So now we want to do some some applications now of the criteria that we have listed, to say we want from this query that we have designed, what we want to see all the learners, okay, all the learners who are in grade 8. So I'm going to say equal 8. So you can say equal to 8, or you can just write 8. So this is the place in which we insert our criteria. Remember, on this table there, right, criteria. So this is where we are going to define our criteria for each and every query that we are going to work with. Okay, so equal sign 8, the learners who are in grade 8. Then I'm going to run the query. Let's see. Okay, so it's showing me that we do not have learners who are in grade 8. Maybe let me check the type of information that I have in my data there. Do I have grade 8? No. Okay, let's go back to design view. Let's go back to design view of our query. Okay, let's go back to design view. So let's show grade 10 learners. Okay, I'm going to run the query. Okay, so can you see that now this query is showing us all the learners who are in grade 10. Only grade 10 learners who are involved in this volunteering program. Okay, so this is how you are going to make use of your query, depending on the needs, depending on the instructions that you are given in the exam. So this query is based on grade 10 learners. Okay, now let's look at some other few examples there within this query again. Maybe we want to make the multiple queries there. Okay, so we can say we want all the grade 10 learners, right, who are above the age of 18. So we are going to use underage here. I want you to check underage here. We want those who are above the age, so greater than the age of, let's say 15 then. Okay, then I'm going to run the query. Okay, so greater than 15, and this learner must be in grade 10. Okay, then I'm going to run the query. So let's check again what we have. Okay, let's check the type of data that we have in our table here. Okay, our age, we have age 15. All right. Okay, so let me go back to our query design. Okay, let's try to say those who are below 18, because our information there is not showing us those who are above 18. So those who are below 15, okay, below 15, from below or equal to 15, okay, which means 15 will be included in our data set. So 15 will be included in our data set, less than or equal to 15. So 15 going down. Okay, let me go back to the datasheet view. Okay, so you can actually see that on our age here, we are only showing all the grade 10 learners who are 15 years and below. So we have 15 and 14. Okay, let's go back to our design view. Let's just say less than 15. Okay, and then run our query. So it's showing me all the grade 10 learners who are below the age of 15. Okay, so that is 14, 14, 14. So these are the learners who are below the age of 14. So if we were to save our query, then we're going to save the query based on the age of our learners and grade as well. Okay, let's continue. Let me give you more examples here. Let's go back to our design view. Maybe we want to show all the grade 12 learners, okay, who are greater than the age of 17 there. So the learner must be in grade 12, but also be 17 and above. Then let's run the query. So this is what we are going to have. As you can see, we have these learners who are above the age of 17 who are in grade 12. Okay, so this is what you can actually do, and you're going to save this query. But we want to continue making examples. So let's make another example in design view. Maybe we want all the grade 12 learners who are above the age of 17, who have made maybe number of shifts which are equal to 3, right? 3 shifts and above. Okay, and let's run the query. Okay, so these are the number of shifts, 3 shifts, and these learners are in grade 12 who are above the age of 18. So these are some of the things that you can actually apply whenever you are designing a query. You are displaying your data, right, based on certain criteria, based on certain conditions. We do not want to look at everything like what we have in our table. We want some information based on what we are looking on. Okay, so we are saying we are having the whole school, but we only want to look at only the grade 12 learners who are above the age of 17. So now we are going to use the query so that the query can actually generate the names of all those learners who are above the age of 17 in grade 12 who have made 3 shifts. Okay, so this is how you are going to apply your criterias in your query there. Okay, let's go back again to design view. So let's apply our multiple criterias now. Okay, we want to use the and the or. Okay, maybe let's start with the or there. Okay, we want those with the age of 17, right, or 18, and they must be in grade 12. So we are using or. Okay, so if I go and run, so you can actually see that those who are at the age of 17 and 18 are the ones that are generated who are in grade 12. Okay, so these are some of the things that you can do. Let's go back. Actually, you can actually see that in our table here we have got the criteria and the or. So we can actually say 17 and put your or here, and then 18. Okay, let's see. So it's still going to generate the same values. Okay, so this is what you can actually do. Let's go back to design view. So 17, or let's look at the end. Okay, so in this case we want to look at all the learners who are above the age of 17. Okay, right, and who are below, right, greater than 17, who are below the age of 19, right? So these learners should be above 17 but cannot be above 19. Okay, so we use and. So let's go and generate. Okay, so this is the table that we have, and maybe let's save this query. Okay, if I do like this, I'm going to save. So I'm saving this query as QRY age for the grade 12 learners. Okay, so then you can save. So it's now my second query that I have made. Okay, maybe let's do a quick one again. Let's go to create. let's go to query design. Okay, from this table, okay, what do we want? We only want the name, the first name, the age, the grade, okay, and also let's look at the shifts and the amount. Okay, now let's start with our query there. So let's look at the amount. Maybe let's talk about the monetary terms. Okay, let me just run the query. So this is what we are going to have. Okay, but looking at the amount, we can actually see that in most cases 25 rand, 35 rand, 20 rand, and okay, and the number of shifts. Okay, so we want to say we want to generate a query. We want to generate a query for the grade 12 learners. The learner must be in grade 12. Let me show this learner must be in grade 12. Okay, and this learner must have made maybe 3 payments and has generated more than, okay, greater than 30 rand. Okay, so this is what we want to see. These are the criteria that you can use, that you can apply to generate your query. So let's say run. Okay, so you can actually see that all the grade 12 learners, right, with the number of payments equal to 3 and the amount that they've generated, which is above 30 rand, are the ones that we are seeing in this query. Okay, so this is actually the way you can use your query to, you know, generate information from the table. Remember, our query is based on a table, so we want to display information based on certain criteria and conditions. We are saying we are working with a massive amount of data in our table, and it will take us a lot of time if we want to look at some other few aspects. Like we want to look at only grade 12 learners. Okay, we have only made 3 payments, so imagine going one by one in our table there where we have grade 8 up to grade 12 learners, and it becomes so much, you know, time consuming and it's ineffective. So we need to find a way to just look at the data that we want to focus on, which is the best way to look at that is to design a query. So I'm going to save this query. We're saving this query. Maybe it's going to be QRY amount. Okay, so any name that you feel like it is going to it is going to be a proper name for your query, you can also just use that one. Okay, so I'm going to say okay. So in this case now we want to show the not equal to. Okay, so this is our query. So we have selected all these fields. So in this case we want to show all the learners who are not in grade 10, only the learners who are not. Okay, we want everything but not equal to a certain criteria. We want all the grades but not the grade 10. So we have grade 10, 11, 12. We want all the other grades but not those who are in grade 10. So I'm going to say not under the grade, not. Okay, remember we are under the grade. Okay, make sure you're under the grade, under the criteria there. Then you're going to say not equal to 10, and then you can run the query. So you can actually see that all the learners who are in grade 11 and 12, excluding those who are in grade 10, will be displayed in our query. Let's go back to design view. You can actually use the not equal to 10. Remember this operator, the not equal to 10. Okay, and then you can run the query. So it will do the same, excluding those who are in grade 10, excluding those who are in grade 10. So this is the way you are going to work with the not equal to, the not equal to. Okay, the not equal to. So this is basically what we wanted to look at in terms of query design. Thank you very much. Like this video, share it. See you in the next session.